All right, we have entered April. April is part of the spring severe weather season. We often forget about the spring severe weather season. Today is April 18th. April 22nd is going to be the anniversary for the unfortunate death of one of our drivers that occurred April 22nd, I believe, the year 2020. Okay, forgive me for the early edit on this video. I wanted to make sure I got the name of this individual pronounced correctly, right? The first one was just a driver in his regular personally owned vehicle. Chad Wayant, right, was driving through Oklahoma near Road 99 Charlie. He was a worker at the J&I plant over there. If you know anything about Madill, Oklahoma, I already went over it, went down that road. And then once it hit the steel manufacturing plants, right, steel and wire manufacturing plants, one of our drivers, a professional driver, a truck driver, was hit by flying debris. From what I know, the workers at the plant were able to get into the shelters. However, the driver was unable to. Tornado did a direct strike. If you know anything about Madill, Oklahoma, if you picked up from the steel plants that I typically will pick up from, you have that Walmart, the two steel plants, and like a little truck stop over here. He was found near Highway 99 Charlie as it went straight down the Highway 99 and hit the two steel plants and continued going. Now, I'm going to read off some statistics for you. Right, every year, 350 to 400 fatal crashes involving large trucks happen in bad weather. This is rain, this is snow, ice, fog, and wind. Tornado-specific truck deaths can be rare because they don't separate a tornado event from a wind event. When on the rare cases they do, it'll be 3 per year. Now, microbursts, tornadoes, straight line winds, all of those wind events together will flip 50 to 80 trucks annually. Out of those 50 to 80 trucks that'll get flipped yearly, 10 to 20 of those drivers will die. They will receive fatal injuries. The point of this video is to keep you, hopefully encourage you from being one of those fatal injuries that occur annually. Nobody wants to be in that 10 to 20 number. Let's see if this video can help encourage people to bring that number down. You are now riding with Steel Horse. Stay tuned. With a flame in my chest, southwest sun sitting heavy on my neck. Every mile I rode carved the line in the map. Now the whole damn state know the legend is back. One place I've never, ever been grateful to see a dispatch to is Oklahoma. Today, I got dispatched to Oklahoma. And today, Oklahoma is expecting a hatched risk and a marginal risk of tornadoes, EF2 or higher, hail, and all of this other stuff. Y'all were able to see the clouds moving. I don't know if y'all see the action behind it. Got some wind picking up. If you know anything, the sheer amount of moisture that I feel right now. Moisture is known as storm field. The humidity in the air, pretty strong right now. So I still have a few hours until my 10 is complete. I had a split, so I could still make it to the shipper. But if I make it to the shipper on a split and drop this load off, then I'm stuck here to really complete my 10. And really all I want to do is get in and get out.
Load 6,489,669 information received.
Am I taking photos still? Yes,
Rated superior hardwoods 4 stars.
Be quiet for a minute.
Average rating.
Here we go. So, welcome to Mr. Steel Horse's neighborhood. Don't you know I always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you? What I'm about to do, I just got loaded. I wanted to show you all what this lumber load that I received looked like, since it was all different sizes of stacks, or different lengths of stacks, I should say. The big thing is making sure a strap touches every single one of those stacks. So now, since I do have, and man, I am dirty. Look at this. But since I do have a lot of bad luck as far as getting a good load in there where they don't overweigh me with lumber, I'm gonna go 30 miles south and weigh this sucker. Reason why is because I'm not coming back to Indiana anytime soon that I know of, and I don't want to get pulled into a scale through DOT and by DOT and I'm overweight and I'm going across multiple state lines. And next, I'm not dealing with it with the weather that's coming up here. So, might as well get this knocked out, make sure I'm legal, and do things the right way. So next time you see me, I will be at the cat scale about to weigh in. I don't even know with the way that the camera was, if y'all were able to fully see me, but yeah, next time you see me, I will be at the cat scales showing you how I weigh in, making sure this lumber load ain't got me overweight. All right, I'm at the cat scale.
The weather is about to get very serious as we go through for today. Everybody bringing very strong.
I'm doing, but let's do, I know it says standard weight, spread axle weight. We're gonna do a spread axle weight, freight, all kinds. It doesn't have the right trailer number on there though. I forget what the trailer number is. So the app didn't work at first, so I went inside. They gave me a standard way. It's kind of backwards, but they said my stair axles was at 13,820. So I had to go back on and not set my brakes this time and just use my service brakes. And now my stair axle is at 10,620. And I'm legal on all of it. Even the drives here. Batten down the hashes on the tarps. With the way it's looking, definitely want to make sure the tarps are good. And I'll catch you at the final destination, or I don't even want to say it like that with the way today is. I'll catch you as I start my 34. Where I'm at now, I made it to the terminal out in Fort Smith. I'm going to show you something here. It's beautiful, actually. But back here, the storm box. That's the important part. That is pretty much what I wanted you guys to see here. Now we're going to dive into the actual point of the video. Now that you see what it's looking like out here, you know what I was dealing with in Oklahoma earlier. And now I'm going to show you the action of what I was able to avoid.
This is an umbrella. These are what we call bridge bozos. Get out of there. Clear that up. All right. All right. Let's go down here to Kansas, where we do have a tornado warning. My goodness. This is not Kansas. Sorry, this is Oklahoma. We've got a tornado down here just to the west of this area, and you can see the rotation in front of Taylor. So this is a live look from Ponca City. Additionally, we've got a tornado warning down here for Benton County. That's going to go on for 28 more minutes. There's your rotation. That's coming up towards places like areas east of Lincoln. There's people that aren't under a tornado warning might actually still get considerable damage from a tornado, possible severe thunderstorm.
Oh my gosh. So this was a wild, wild week. I had to make sure I got down last Sunday. Today's the 18th of April. I had to make sure I got down there last Sunday to my drop off in Laredo. I got down there and I made sure I left early to avoid any kind of conflict with weather. Got down in Laredo. Risk area, right? If you know anything about risk areas, this is what they're talking about from the prediction centers, right? Weather prediction centers. So yes, while I'm a weather nerd, I'm not a weather nerd. I'm not going to sit there and talk to people about friggin' mesoscale discussions and all types of whatever else wording they use, right? I don't do that. I just need to know what's going on, what areas to avoid in order for me to stay safe, for this truck to stay safe, and for what I have being hauled on the back of the truck to make it safely to where it has to. So nobody has to worry about any kind of load issues and dealing with insurances, and I'm not getting fired and stuff like that. But I want to make sure at the end of the day I'm making it back to my family and we're all making money in the process. That's my number one thing that I want to do, right? Priority. That's my number one priority. Everybody in the picture is making money. Me, Maverick, and whoever else that's going to sell this lumber, and whoever sold the lumber or whatever I have still back there to the receiver, right? Everybody wants to make money. My goal is to make sure we all do it. Moving on. Now, I get into Missouri. I get to Sullivan, Missouri by the time that I was at about 2.5 hours, so I was about off my 30-minute break time. I decided in Sullivan, this is where I need to stop to do my 30 minutes because I have another about hour and a half to get to St. Louis. I'm not sure what the traffic is going to look like pushing through St. Louis. I know every other time I drove through St. Louis, the traffic took me maybe an hour and 15 minutes just to get through St. Louis to dip into Illinois. And it's not even that big of a city highway-wise. Like, once you get into it and you see the arch and then you get that little right curvature, I forget what highway that is, if that's 44. And then you're right, you cross the Mississippi River and you're right in Illinois, right? So I know it doesn't take that long when there's no traffic. Like, you're in it, you're out of it. But when there is traffic, I've taken like an hour and a half to get out of St. Louis. So I was like, I don't want to risk that, so let me do my 30 minutes here. I stop, do my 30 minutes to Sullivan, go ahead to get something to grab a bite to eat over that 30 minutes. While I'm sitting there, I noticed east of St. Louis is starting to pop off. Like, I'm watching all of these storms literally forming on the east side of St. Louis and pushing into Illinois. I was like, oh, that's easy. This is called, when they form in a line, it's called a squall line, right? In front of the squall line is normally wind gusts, really gusty winds. So I decided I could push behind that squall line, and I look in front of me, or behind me now, is more storms starting to form. So I'm like sandwiched in. I should have decided to leave, right? I should have legitimately decided to go into that squall line, but like I said, I didn't know what the traffic was going to look like, and I didn't want to get behind that squall line and then get stuck in St. Louis traffic as these storms were starting to push into the Sullivan area. I decided maybe I should just wait it out. It'll be safer since I'm here at a truck stop and it gets to, push over me, and at least I have some type of sturdy shelter with me, right? So I eat, Get back in the truck. People are kind of starting to rush in. Storms show up. I got stuck in 2 tornado warnings there, but luckily in my area, nothing touched down. What made me decide to stay was when I realized, hey, 2 counties over from me, one did touch down, and then the county next to me had a tornado warning. And then I'm looking at this picture here, which you see the hook is forming, and as soon as this hook forms, I guess the rotation was spotted, because I took a picture of the hook, the screenshot of the hook. I was watching the whole time what was going on. And I guess the National Weather Service finally saw the rotation, and then they put out the first tornado warning for my area. And they put out a second one right after that one for my area. I decided to leave. Since I got up and I stayed up for both of those warnings just in case, I stayed in the truck stop, went back to my truck. I decided to just sleep it off and then leave early. And I knew I wasn't going to make it at that 6 o'clock. I told my job, you know what I mean, everything. And I made it the following day. Picked up on Friday, which would have been yesterday, another load, but yesterday was supposed to be another crazy day. I was supposed to drive. If you know anything about what was happening yesterday and where it was happening, I was supposed to drive from Indiana into Illinois, into Missouri, and likely from Missouri into the corner of Arkansas, down into Oklahoma, and then down into Texas, because I don't think it would have made sense for me to go through Joplin and into Fort Smith and then into Oklahoma and then into Texas. That likely wouldn't have made any sense at all. I might as well have just went straight into Oklahoma. But I knew that there was a strong expectation for more extremely severe springtime weather. I'm talking to the point where there was, I believe, 123 tornado warnings issued, and right now we only know of almost 20 to 30 tornadoes that did end up touching down, so it was a tornado outbreak. Now, again, I kind of overcompensated, right? Because I decided that I was going to go travel straight south to cut back across I-40 and take I-40 down into 30 and then down into Texas so I could do my drop-off for Monday morning. I could have continued going down 70. 70 would have took me to, I believe, 44, and it skirted by, like, it looks like inches when you're looking at at the weather radar. All of that convection that was occurring. Right, but then I would have got caught up in the Oklahoma stuff. I would have got caught in the Oklahoma stuff, even though it was still, it was right on the line of that convection in Oklahoma. The tornadoes and stuff in Oklahoma were further north, north central, but I would still got caught up in the softball size hail and the other stuff that was occurring. Right, I would have definitely, probably, more than likely, I'd say 90% likely, would have had a cracked windshield, possibly. But that was my week, was trying to watch this stuff, probably overcompensating. If you saw my video about getting caught up in that 70 mile per hour wind for not compensating at all, for trying to push through it and, you know, be super trucker, you would understand why this time I decided to go along with the term that Maverick pushes: safety. Why risk it? If you like this video and you found it useful, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I am Steel Horse. Once more, you've ridden with Steel Horse. If you want to become part of Maverick, which I strongly would recommend for anybody that's into flatbedding, come over here. You're gonna like it. I like it. I know everybody's experience is different, but I'm enjoying it. Right? I have that freedom to route myself if need be, or to hold off if need be and not get, you know, judged for it. Now, amongst other things, go ahead, comment, leave your comments, let me know. I ask that you do use me as a recommendation. I'll give you the information that you need, so go ahead and do that, or as a reference, whatever. But outside of that, you've ridden with Steel Horse. Everybody, right? God bless. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your family. And I really hope and I pray that if you're rocking with me, even if you're not, for 99, 98% of the people, that your bank accounts show the fruits of your labor and that you're highly, highly successful pushing on into the future. Boom. God bless. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy the rest of your work week as we push into it.